welcome to another video. In this one we are looking at the 4-2-3-1 and why it's so good. For the last probably 4, maybe even 5, could be longer, but definitely for the last few FIFAs, the 4-2-3-1 has been the go-to formation from pro level all the way down to pretty much anyone who plays weekend league. It is so solid, so consistent, so reliable, and in this video I'm going to tell you why. I'm going to show you why. I'm going to explain exactly what makes it so good. We're going to go through the tactic I use. I'll talk you through each position, the types of players you want to look for. I'll give you some examples of game clips showing you what makes it so good. And yeah, by the end of this video, hopefully you get a better understanding of the 4-2-3-1, how to use it better, and exactly why it's so good. So, for the keeper, pretty standard, get the best keeper you can. For the fullbacks, and then, I mean, the defence, this pretty much goes in any formation, to be honest. The fullbacks, I want pace, good physicality, weak foot and skill moves is a plus, but not the biggest deal. Decent on the ball, high defending, physical, and pretty good passing. So Zambrota and Alberto, right now, probably the two best in the game for that. Centre back, pacey. Van Dijk's a little bit slower than I'd like at this point, but he makes up for it with his just crazy defending stats elsewhere and his physicality. But you need at least 75 pace at this point. I think, simply put, pace is just so strong on this game that if you're without it, you're gonna concede goals that you just didn't do anything wrong, but it's literally just too slow. CDM, I'll show you my team in game, but when we get to the tactic, I have Zidane and Vieira. Obviously, that's a very expensive duo, but my general advice for your CDM pairing would be have a destroyer and a creator, or a playmaker. Destroyer, playmaker. So someone who stay back on attacking, cuts passing lanes, they stop counter-attacks, they just soak up pressure. They can still pass the ball about a bit, they're still pretty good, but just someone who breaks up the play. And then your other CDM, so for me Zidane, you still want them to be okay defensively, because at CDM they still are going to have to do some defending, but you want them to be pretty good going forward. Obviously Zidane's pretty much the complete midfielder. Not everyone can afford a 94 Zidane. A much cheaper version would be De Bruyne, but there's plenty of midfielders that you could use like that. Someone who complements a destroyer well, so for me that's my Zidane. And then for the cams, the central cam, the weak foot's a bit more important. I think out wide you can get away with 3-star weak foot. I would never go 2-star, simply put, it's just too bad. I mean, an exception might be a Adama Traore just for his blistering pace and strength, but in general I want at least 3-star weak foot out wide. In the middle I want 4-star at a minimum, so you've got the skill moves and weak foot options. You want pace out wide is very important. Physicality is a plus, but the pace is more important. High dribbling, so they're not going to be clunky. The passing stat matters more in the central camp, and high shooting. And then for the striker, we've got CR7 in my team. Pacey, good in the airs. I don't think you need to be good in the air on this game, but it's definitely a plus. CR7's obviously the complete striker. Fast, good finishing, very good dribbling, decent passing. Those are what you really look for in the players. Okay, this is my tactic. You can see in game, that's the team there. The tactic I use is balanced, 4 width, 4 depth. I don't really want to go any lower on either, because I just think it'll expose me too much to giving them too much space, or too much space on the wings. If you have too low a depth, you're just giving too much space in the middle of the pitch. You don't want to drop too deep and invite too much pressure. Nothing fancy on my offensive style. I find balanced as a general game plan just works best, because it gives you a bit of everything. The instructions, I want getting behind, stay central, stay forward on my striker, just because I want him to constantly be using his movement and pace to cause issues for the defence. I leave my cam on default everything. I put comeback on defence, get into the box on my outside cams. You can see I've got balanced on my CDM there, and then cut passing lane, stay back while attacking on that CDM. And then for the right back, left back and centre backs, all on stay back while attacking and pretty much default. So, one of the things I love about the 4-2-3-1 is just it covers every area of the pitch. You can see here, if we try to draw circles around the space, there's like space there, but like there's pretty much no area of the pitch that isn't completely covered for the most part. We have two CDMs that are close to the defence. The cam keeps the CDMs and cam close together for the midfield. The cam links the striker. There's not really a part where you just don't have enough options. The flat back four means you cover the wings, you cover the middle. The CDMs in the 4-2-3-1, one of the reasons that the formation is so good is that the CDMs act as a shield in front of the back four. You'll see that in the gameplay clips that we get to, but in the 4-2-3-1, the two CDMs, like I say, they act as a shield. It just means if you lose the ball or they get past your attack, then you're okay, because the 4-2-3-1 means the two CDMs are going to be covering your back four, and it means you defend with at least 6 players on counter attacks a lot of the time. You do have to switch to your CDMs because a lot of the time on this game they just stay still and don't really do a lot, but the CDMs are a key part of this. And it also makes playing out the back easier, because when you get it with your centre back, full back, you can just go to the CDMs and they'll be dropped deep a bit more. So when you're transitioning from defence to attack, you go through the midfield. And some of the more aggressive formations, it's not quite as easy to get to the attack because you don't have the same transition. But the 4-2-3-1 has lots of beautiful link-ups across the pitch. The CDMs then, they can link to the cam, so you can go there. The CDMs can play through balls out wide. The CDMs basically are where the attack starts, and you're going to be using them, especially the playmaker, so for me Zidane, to be able to play through balls to players in space. That's why I want so much pace on my attackers, because when I have all this pace, it allows me to quickly counter and play through balls with some of these really good CDMs and make a lot of space. The cam is pretty key in the team, because with the cam, you're going to use him to link up everyone. The cam links up to everyone, can play everything across the board. The striker's going to be the focal point of the attack, that you can lump the ball up to him. You can play through balls in behind. You want someone who's got decent hold-up play, quite strong. The Lam and Ram in defence are going to come back like that. They're also going to be going up top like that to try counter people getting behind. And yeah, I just don't think there's a massive weakness with this formation. The biggest weakness, if there is any, is that you don't have two strikers. And I like having two strikers to beat centre-backs. But if you're patient in this formation, let your players make the right runs, the cam, the outside cams, they're going to get in behind and cause lots of issues. Let's get into some gameplay clips. In this clip here, I score a goal in my beloved 4-2-3-1. You can see the build up here. We've got the Lam occupying space up there, which is always an option for us. The Ram is making a run in behind there, which is really nice. Zidane is occupying some of the defenders there. I think Vieira should be around here somewhere. And look, there's just so many options, lots of link-up play. My CDM's got involved there. See, you don't have to be tied to your strike having to stay as well. CR7 still got involved in the midfield. There's lots of options here. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different men in good space here. Vieira's come involved there. I pass out wide. One of the best things about the 4-2-3-1 is we have lots of options across different areas. You want to use them. You want to be unpredictable. You don't want to just keep going to the same place. Being unpredictable is key. The 4-2-3-1 helps with that. I go here to Pele. I do a 1-2, so by that I mean an L1 plus X pass, which triggers Pele to make a run. You can see as soon as Pele's there, he goes there. So he's a cam, but he's still getting in behind. A quick turn there, and then my cam has got into that space. It's a nice, easy finish. There we go. I've used probably 5 or 6 different players in that attack, passed to a lot of different players, and by doing that, it's led to a goal through patience and the attacking patterns and triangles that the 4-2-3-1 gives. Okay, this is another clip of a goal I got in the 4-2-3-1. Notice how it starts with Zidane. I go out wide. Going out wide is really important on the game, because a lot of people just focus their attacks down the middle, and when you do that, you become predictable and easy to defend against. The 4-2-3-1 with the Lam and the Ram gives you lots of natural width, which makes it really good. You can see there, Pele dribbling and turning. Zidane's made a run in behind there, and that run that Zidane makes in behind occupies that centre-back just enough that he drops back. I don't know why Zidane doesn't come back straight away, but it occupies enough that it works quite well for us. Then I get it to the striker. What I want in the 4-2-3-1 generally is to try and get a 1v1 where I can do a quick skill, quick turn and get a goal. Get into that position there with CR7. That's why you want at least 4-star weak foot, so they know you can go either way. On this game, 4-star weak foot's more than good enough. But you see there, I've got 4 players in the box at this point. Mbappe was down here giving width. Vieira's there. So I've got 6 attackers on most of my players, to be honest. The 4-2-3-1's given me that. Okay, here we start in the midfield. We're being patient, we're using the CDMs. A big part of this formation that can almost annoy people and make more chances is passing around with the CDMs. Look there, I'm just being patient. I'm winning at this point. There's nothing really on forward, so I'm just being patient. I go back to the other CDM. These two can just sit in this like almost kind of hole at this point. It can kind of sit there and just occupy the space. It draws someone out. It pulls these 2 players out, and when those 2 get out, I have these 2 against the 2 centre backs. And from there, I do a quick turn, and then it's an easy finish. All that's come from just being patient. My Ram and Lam have occupied his 2 fullbacks, and then I get a 2v1 because my Cam joins in. It's a nice easy goal, and that wraps up the game for me. In this clip here, I'm going to show you how the 4-2-3-1 sets up defensively. So if anything, the 4-2-3-1 is probably better defensively than going forward, and you saw there some great clips of how good the formation is at attacking when you use it right. You can see here, look at all the options I've got here. I've got my 2 CDMs here occupying the midfield, making it harder to get through. He's not got any space to really turn there, and even if they get past the CDMs, I've still got the back 4, and it gives the CDMs time to get back into space. You can switch to the CDMs there, cover it. It's not really got any options here. I've got my Ram, Cam and Lam getting back up here on defence, so they occupy like this area of the pitch here to stop people countering or having too much space. Here I'll be switching to my CDMs, constantly defending. You can see there, even though he got through my team at first, he didn't really get through properly, and then it allowed me to set up shop again, get my team into shape, and it's very hard to break this down. See, there are all my men behind the ball. And yes, he got past my midfield, but it forced him into a position where I wanted him. And from there, he couldn't really do anything. So there you can see how good the 4-2-3-1 is defensively. And then from there, I can keep the ball, counter-attacks up to me. Hopefully this video has been able to help you see how powerful the 4-2-3-1 is, the pros of it, the cons I say of it, but there isn't really many cons at all. It's just a fantastic all-round formation. And it showed you why you should be using the 4-2-3-1. I could have gone probably even done more about it, which maybe we'll do in another video, how to keep the ball and counter-attacking the 4-2-3-1. But yeah, the 4-2-3-1 is fantastic. It's amazing. It's been the most well-rounded, solid meta formation for the last few years on FIFA. Hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you very much for watching.